morning. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We're very happy that this is a topic of interest to you and that you have joined us for yet another session of our Nollywood Filmmakers Forum. It promises to be a very interesting session. We have a lineup of 5 impressive speakers who have a wealth of experience to share with us today. The topic of our discussion is the role of the guilds in strengthening the Nigerian film industry, the role of the guilds in strengthening Nigeria's film industry. And we have a lineup of 5 speakers. Dr. Victor Okhai, who is the National President of the Directors Guild of Nigeria, DGN. We have Mr. Yinka Ogun, who is the National President of the Screenwriters Guild of Nigeria, SWGN. We have Mrs. Joy Osaruwa-Akinyemi, the National President of the Creative Designers Guild of Nigeria, CDGN. We have Mr. John Aduloju, the National President, Cinematographers Society of Nigeria, CSN. And last but certainly not the least, Mr. Ejezie, I beg your pardon, Emeka Rollas, the National President, Actors Guild of Nigeria, AGN. We do hope that they would join us very soon. While we're waiting for them, I want to extend a very warm welcome to all of you on behalf of the Nollywood Studies Center, headed by Dr. Ike Obiaya, who is unavoidably absent today because he is attending other university functions. That is not to say that this is not an important one, but it's an unavoidable situation. So thank you so much for joining. My name is Anulika, Agina, and I am Associate Professor of Media Studies at the Pan-Atlantic University. Nollywood is of great interest to me in my research work, and perhaps that's why I've been asked to moderate this session. I'm very happy to meet you all electronically or virtually today, this morning. I hope that we would have a very interesting session in the next 2 hours. Oh, I can see that 2 of our guests are here. Excellent. A very warm welcome to Mr. John Aduloju, who I can see is present in the room. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. And another warm welcome to Mr. Yinka Ogun. Thank you very much for joining us on a Saturday morning when you could have been doing other things, attending weddings, sleeping, etc., etc. So thank you. We are immensely grateful for the time that you have given to us today to share your wealth of experience for today's session. So very quickly, I would like us to get right into it because I don't want to waste anyone's time. So I will begin by reading a short profile of our speakers, beginning with those in the room, if you don't mind. We got information from Mrs. Joy, who says she has another engagement, so she may leave earlier than the end of the program. So we please crave your indulgence to bear with us for that. I would also like to announce that one of our speakers, Dr. Victor Okhai, is bereaved and is currently traveling, or perhaps he's got to his destination for the funeral of his mother. In spite of that, he has agreed to join us for today's session. So we want to extend our sincerest condolences to him and thank him for still trying to join us in spite of the difficult situation that he is in. So we want to welcome our speakers again. Mr. Aduloju John, I beg your pardon, is currently, excuse me, Mr. Aduloju John is currently the Business Development Manager at ARI for Central, West, and East African region, a leading camera and lighting manufacturer from Germany operating in sub-Saharan Africa. He is a versatile film and broadcast technician, a cinematographer, technical director, and media and broadcast consultant with over 20 years of experience. He has worked on various projects, including the autobiography of the past president, Olusegun Obasanjo, Google AdWords documentary, African Business Reports on BBC, Harvard Business School documentary, World Bank Group, and IFC Monetary documentary, as among others. He also serves as the national president of the Cinematographers Society of Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us, and a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Another speaker we have is Mr. Yinka Ogun, who studied architecture before transitioning into screenwriting, emerging as one of Nigeria's most accomplished contemporary screenwriters. Excuse me. He gained national recognition in the early 2000s as the creator of the multiple award-winning TV series, Dear Mother. Mr. Ogun has been a key member of the writing teams for Doctor's Quarters and Edge of Paradise, both owned by Mnet. In 2007, he created the hit show Tinsel and spent a year as its head writer before moving on to other projects. Mr. Ogun is the creator of Daddy's Girls. Excuse me, please. Mr. Ogun is the creator of Daddy's Girls, which won the 2016 AMVCA Award for Best TV Series. He has also been a story consultant for the MTV-based TV series Sugar 4 and head writer as well as co-writer for shows like The Governor, Life 101, and Sons of a Caliphate. Mr. Ogun is a national president of the Screenwriters Guild of Nigeria. He teaches screenwriting, storytelling, and the art of creating and developing long-lasting and engaging TV series. He was elected into the International Academy of Television and Arts and Sciences in September 2022. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. Dr. Victor.
My pleasure.
Okay, thank you, sir. Dr. Victor Okhai is a seasoned producer, scriptwriter, cinematographer, director, and film consultant. He is the founder and director of In Short Film Festival, the largest short film festival in sub-Saharan Africa, and a member of the Nigerian Oscar Selection Committee, NOSC. Dr. Okhai has served on and headed the jury of several local and international film festivals, including the Audiovisual Awards, Cairo International Film Festival, SHNIT Worldwide Short Film Festival, the Pan-African Film and Television Festival of Ouagadougou. He holds a graduate degree in mass communication from University of Nigeria, Nsukka, a master's in public relations from the same university, and a doctorate in business administration. He is a board member of the African Film Consortium, AFC, and the Mokolo Project. Dr. Okhai is the current national president of the Directors Guild of Nigeria. Thank you so much, Dr. Okhai, for joining us or attempting to join us in spite of your bereavement. Mrs. Joy Osaruwa, oh, he's here already. Thank you so much, sir, and welcome.
Thank you.
Mrs. Joy Osaruwa-Akinyemi is a graduate of Del York Creative Academy, a two-time alumni graduate of NECV College of Communication, as well as a certified marriage counselor working for the Institute of Marriage and Family Affairs. She is the CEO of Jubal Productions and serves as a Lagos State Coordinator for Women's Advancement for Economic and Leadership Empowerment in Africa. Mrs. Joy was the immediate past chairman of the Creative Designers Guild of Nigeria, Lagos State Chapter, and she now holds the position of National President of the Creative Designers Guild of Nigeria. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today. And last on our list, but certainly not the least, is Mr. Ejezie Emeka Rollas. He is the managing director of Rolling Pictures Limited and Uben Rolling Pictures Uganda Limited. a movie production company that also offers public relations and advertising consultancy. After graduating from the Federal Polytechnic Oko in Anambra State with a degree in mass communication in 1993, he joined the Actors Guild of Nigeria in Onitsha, when it was known as Nigeria Actors Guild, NAG, and rose to the position of vice chairman. He has appeared in over 100 Nollywood movies. Mr. Rollas has held various elective positions in the Guild, served on numerous committees, and advised Guild leaders. He is a proud member of the International Federation of Actors, FIA. In 2022, the federal government of Nigeria bestowed upon him the national honor of Member of the Order of the Niger, MON. He was recently awarded an honorary doctorate degree in mass communication from Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Okhai. That is Dr. Emeka Rollas. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir, and a warm welcome to you as well. Right, so now that we know who our speakers are, this impressive list, we're going to jump right into it. The topic of today's conversation is the role of the guilds in strengthening Nigeria's film industry. And we have the right people who would address these for us. I'm going to ask a general question now, and I would expect the speakers to address the issue in 2 to 3 minutes each, please. And then we will take another round of questions before opening up to our attendees for today. I understand that there are lots of questions for us, and some of the questions seem controversial because some people have already sent me their questions. I want to crave everyone's indulgence to please ask their questions when called upon as respectfully as possible, in appreciation for the very busy men and women who have agreed to join us today. So our first question is, we know that the guilds were established for specific reasons and with specific mandates. Now, what exactly have the guilds done in encouraging professionalism in the industry? I would like to begin with Dr. Okhai, who I can see on my screen right now, if you don't mind, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The guild system is, I mean, even beyond filmmaking, it is a system that has held together professional bodies and communities in different parts of the world. And what the guild system does is help to bring people who are under the same profession to come together under one umbrella where they can, you know, advance professional practice, the welfare of the members, and also help to strengthen the practice and profession. In Nollywood, the guild system started, it's almost as old as Nollywood of today itself, you know, way back with some of the early guilds, which included AMP, CDGN, the Actors Guild, and the rest of them. So it's something that has existed for quite a while now. And it has helped because to a very large extent, members are identified by the guilds. When you talk about a director or you're talking about an actor, obviously the first thing they say to you is I'm a member of AGN or I'm a member of DGN or whatever the guild is. And what that simply means is I belong to the profession, you know. And with that identity, people are able to deal with you. Automatically confers a bit of legitimacy on you that is a member, because it therefore means that you are a part of this professional body. And to that extent, it has helped to regulate the art and practice. Granted, there are a few people who may be practicing outside the guild system, but as we know, it has not really helped the situation, because even when there is a problem, usually the first people they run to is the guild system. Now, let me make a quick reference. When there was a need, for instance, for Netflix to support the industry during COVID, there was no way they would know practice. They had attempted it initially, but it wasn't working. And so they found that the only way to be able to reach members authentically and those who are practicing and who perhaps may have been affected by COVID professionally was through the guild system. And so they spoke and dealt through the guild system. With the Film and Video Censors Board, if they had allowed for just anybody to just be carrying movies there or to begin to practice anyhow, you find that it would be a very disorganized industry. And so today, if you must have your film censored, it means you must go through the guild system, either as a director for those who are presenting movies. You can present as a distributor, a director, or as a producer. And so you cannot work outside the system. That helps regulate and create some form of sanity. And if we're talking about data for our business, which is something we have been crying about, or the industry has been crying about, the only way you can get it is through the guild system. So to that extent, it is a system that helps the industry and will continue to do more for the industry and the practitioners.
Thank you so much, sir. That's very useful as an intro to our conversation today. Can I please move to Mrs. Joy Osaruwa-Akinyemi? Mrs. Joy, if you are in the room.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. You're welcome to our Filmmakers Forum today. And the question on the table is, how has your guild encouraged professionalism in the industry? What specific steps are being taken in that direction? Thank you.
Thank you so much. First of all, I appreciate this opportunity to be on this platform. I'm sorry for my coming in a bit late because of network where I am. I'm in one village in Edo State, and I'm finding it very difficult. Thank you so much. Yes, for this question. So far, my guild as Creative Designers Guild of Nigeria, we have tried as much as possible to define what we are called to do as professionals, okay? And more so, we try as much as possible to encourage our members, our people, or new intake to go to have more training, information, so that they will be able to dispense their duty when it's called for. Because a blind man cannot do what a man that have two eyes can do or achieve. A blind man cannot do that or achieve it until we are able to do more training or engage ourselves and our people in training. As a creative person, you might learn something in school, and coming to the field is a different ball game. So to encourage this professionalism is, first of all, we just have to engage ourselves in training and retraining ourselves so that we'll be able to do our job professionally.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come back to you in the next round of questions, but I just want to highlight the 2 points that you've made about fulfilling your mandate and also stressing the role of continuing education in order to fulfill your profession expertly. Thank you for these points. I would like now to move on to Mr. John Aduloju. Can you please tell us, sir, how the Cinematographers Society of Nigeria is responding to this need for professionalism in the industry?
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to be short and precise about it, and I'm going to talk about two things: is sensitization and association. About 3 years ago, when I, came on board as the, acting president of the guild, and one of the very first things we did was to train and retrain some of our members from the rivers and delta states, and it was on purpose because we didn't want to start with Lagos. So we need to train people, we need to work on the orientation of the people who are coming in as a member, and that's part of the sensitization we're doing, training, workshop, we've worked in the past, early this year with Canon, to be able to do some of these workshops. And we also lobby on welfare for, registered members who are taken up on projects. So what they do is if any registered member come to us, as executive and inform us that I'm taking up this project and the executive producer is Mr. So and so. We approach the executive producer, with a contract, and we help lobby and discuss, wages and all of that. We know that people are scared of, coming out to say this is how much this project is paying me and all of that. We try to be confidential about it, but if you come to us, we also fight your battle for you. That is one of the mandates that we have. And the next thing we do is to collaborate within the rest of the guild. We have the DGN, so you cannot work with the DGN unless you're a full registered member of the CSN. And when there's a problem with a particular camera operator or cinematographer on site, the director knows who to call. The CDGN member knows who to call. The producers know who to call. So we need to be in alliance with other guilds to make this work fully. And the last thing is regulation. And that is the stage where we are right now. I mentioned this last because our process is not as fast as expected. And until when people see the benefits, that is when the regulation will work. And that's why I mentioned the regulation last. So we need to be able to render fair wages, working conditions, legal assistance, arbitration service, training, mentoring, networking for our members. And this we are doing, and we might not be there yet, but it's a step at a time. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much. That's very useful for us as the introduction to our conversation for today. Mr. John, thank you for that. I understand that Dr. Rollas is still trying to join us. While we wait for him, can I please ask if Mr. Ogun is in the room now? Please, if so, he can respond to the question. Mr. Yinka Ogun, are you here, please? Okay, I imagine that he will respond as soon as he joins. And Apoma, the coordinator, can also alert me to this, please, when that happens.
I'm here.
Okay, all right, sir, please. So the question that we've started this conversation with is, how are the guilds encouraging professionalism in the industry? So in your case, how is the Screenwriters Guild encouraging professionalism in the Nigerian film industry today? Please.
Okay. Well, to answer that, we also have to take into consideration the challenges being faced by the guilds.
Okay.
So with our own members, we try to maintain professionalism. We arrange, we create capacity building initiatives and all that. So there's a minimum standard of operation, and we also act like a watchdog over their activities, such that if a producer or a director has an issue with them and they bring it up, then we will take it up. And if our members are erring, then we will discipline them. But the challenge is you have a situation where 70% of the writers in the country are operating outside of the guild structure. And so it's a big one. So they go there, they do nonsense, and then everybody comes and says Nigerian writers are horrible. So that's the major issue. So so it becomes very hard. I mean, look at the Writers Guild of America. They could achieve what they achieved recently because most of the people practicing in the system are they're within the guild structure. And this is not just a problem of the Screenwriters Guild, it's a problem of most of the guilds in Nigeria. A lot of the practitioners are operating outside the guild structure. So you watch something is horribly directed, you say Nigerian directors are useless. You watch something, the writing is bad or the acting is bad, and you say the Nigerian writers are horrible, the Nigerian actors. But that is a problem because most of these people are not within the guild structure. So for us to be able to come up with a holistic level of professionalism across all the strata of the industry, we need the kind of legislation that makes it mandatory for all these people operating to come under the guilds. Then we can effect and insist on a level of professionalism and put in processes to make this happen, to put in processes to achieve that level of professionalism. But until then, the Lord is our shepherd.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ogun. That is funny. Thank you. You mentioned the point on legislation and the reluctance of indeed a lot of the members, a lot of screenwriters to belong to the group, to the guild. Now, this is a little bit problematic, and it brings me to the question of challenges, because that's one of the questions that we have listed here for all of the speakers today. Now, can we say that, would we be right in saying that one of the reasons why people are reluctant, why practitioners are reluctant to belong to the guilds, is because they do not see the immediate benefits of the guilds for their work? Because I'm thinking that if they could see that readily, then it becomes easier for them to get on board. A situation where it is backed by legislation, do you think that it would work, where people are obligated, right? They're obliged to join the guilds. Do you think that it's going to, result in higher professionalism, best practices and all of that? So my question really is, why is there this perceived or actual reluctance for practitioners to belong to not just the Screenwriters Guild, but indeed all of the guilds within the film industry? This is the next question now, and I would like to go back to Dr. Okhai to please address this question. Why is there this perceived reluctance? Are members not feeling the benefits directly? And do you think that legislation is going to solve it? In my mind, I doubt it, but you are the expert here, sir.
Let me start with your mind. Please don't doubt it. Huh? First of all, you cannot say people are reluctant because the guild will not do anything when they have not even joined the guilds. You cannot be outside and assume what the guild can or cannot do for you. Yes. So it's, I don't know what to say, Nigeria or whatever, but the truth is, it's like taxation. If people can avoid it, they will avoid it. Very few other sense of responsibility. And so people will now say, oh, If government is working for me, if government, I've not saw government doing, that's why I'm not paying taxation. It's like the proverbial, what you call it now, chicken and egg. Which one comes first? Pay your tax so that government will work, or government will work so that you pay your tax. If you don't pay your tax, what will government work with? And then you say, if government doesn't work, why should you pay your tax? But meanwhile, you're earning income. You know, so the thing is just that many people are very, very irresponsible. I say so. It has nothing to do with education. It has nothing to do with education. If you know you belong to a board, if you're benefiting from an industry, I think the responsible thing to do is to identify that industry. You cannot pretend on the one, you cannot be making a lot of money from an industry on the one hand, and on the other hand, be acting like they are not good enough, or they are, you know, you are benefiting from it, and you're acting like they are not they're responsible enough. Yesterday night on the flight, I was sitting with someone from Ghana, a filmmaker now, is a full-time broadcaster. He was sitting beside me, and he was making a statement. I said, "Doesn't watch Hollywood movies again. You know, they're terrible." And I said to him, "Excuse me, you don't watch Hollywood? You're talking about sound and all." I said, "Sir, when was the last time you watched any Hollywood movie?" He couldn't remember. Right then, because we're about to take off, I just took him to Netflix. The very first movie he saw, I put him on the headset, we could hear sound very well. He immediately confessed that he never knew that things had changed drastically. Now you cannot know, and what I said to you is the same movie in society. I don't watch Hollywood movies. And they're talking about not just COVID, but well before COVID. You know, they're talking about the very early days when people were struggling, when people were just making magic with nothing. They cannot see what is happening, they don't even bother and just sit down and conclude. And some have entered the industry right now. They're making money from the industry and they don't want to identify. All they say is that we don't see, we don't think that they have not come to sit down with the heads of the industry to know the kind of people that are there and what obtains. But I can assure you all that is going to change very soon, because many of them, because of regulation, and regulation has helped to a very large extent. People who don't really know what to identify with guilds, because they have no choice now, either as directors or producers, or their films cannot be distributed unless they are registered with the guild. Now they are forced to. And unfortunately, I don't think this issue was dealt with. The last time I didn't want to speak during the last edition of this program, when you spoke to Ejezie, she said she was compelled to join. That was, I mean, you can imagine the mentality. And I wish it's on this so that I can engage her. What do you mean by I'm compelled? That's why I register. That is the height of irresponsibility. Excuse my language and my tone. That's the height of irresponsibility. The benefit from this is that you were compelled. And I do not blame her. If we had passed through the normal process and we didn't just say, okay, just to help her to get, how do I put it now, to get into the movie without going through the due process, which everybody should go through. We just, so that we are not seen as being difficult. We say, okay, you are practicing, we know you are, you know, pay the necessary fees to the guild, you get registered, and then we send your name for censorship. And then to have the effrontery to come and say, I was compelled. And there are many of them like that. You know, so it just tells you how irresponsible, and I will repeat, these filmmakers are, because they have refused to identify with the professional bodies. You are talking and you are engaging with us as heads of guild right now. We do not sound like illiterates or the people that, you know, they used to think. And a lot of them are not, excuse my language, don't have as educated as one of the people who are in DJ, for instance. I can tell you that practicing directors we have, we have no less than 13, 15 PhD holders. I'm not counting professors who also have PhDs, you know, who are members of this guild, practicing and have identified, you know. And the reason why some of this is happening is because, and that is also going to change very soon. When this, what you call them, cinemas come into the country, they just work with people, and then suddenly they feel that they are an elite class or group. You know, I don't need to identify, I don't need to go through any guild, you know, to get the to do work. But we will make sure going forward that they go through the normal process. So to cut your long story short, regulation has helped to a large extent to make sure that some of them even know that there are guilds and they should identify, because their sense of responsibility and foolish pride will not allow them to do what they should do.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I love the energy that you bring to the room and the conversation, because it's very important that people are aware and that they are re-educated on the value of belonging to this guild, because the industry needs to be structured, as we all have correctly identified, and they have to contribute to that structuring of the industry in very important ways. So thank you very much for that. Can I please ask Mrs. Joy the next question now? How are the events and activities of the guilds publicized? Because one of the reasons why people may not join the guilds can be that they're not aware, especially for emerging practitioners. Upcoming ones may not even know that your guild exists. And so how is publicity done? How are events announced? How are they like put in the faces of the people who should belong to this guild, so to speak? Mrs. Joy, please.
It's your government. All right. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Yes. Your question is how do we publicize our guild for people to be aware of it, right? Yes. One of my vision is to have corporate visibility. That's number one reason, because we have a lot of people in area of makeup, costume, and all props and set design who somehow are working and they are not aware. I will say they don't want to be part of it because there is no benefit, like the question you throw to Mr. President, because they are not aware. Because I have met so many of them, and what you hear them say is that, sorry, I have never been aware. I'm not privy to this guild, you know. And what we are doing now, we are doing a lot of publicity, going from sending letters to most production houses, because we find out that production houses are usually the people who use a lot of outside registered members, you know. So we are sending letters to them, getting acquainted with them to make them understand that, look, these people need to register. You understand? They need to be part of what we are doing. They need to understand the way the operation is going. They need to understand the rules and the regulation of our guild. So what we are really doing is on social media, we are blasting it for some time now. We have been blasting it and working towards going on print media and all that, so that people can get to know about us, you know, very well, and to be part of what we're doing.
Okay, thank you so much for what you say. I agree that using the social media platform is a viable way of reaching these people. But when you say that you go to production houses, I'm not sure, I don't know how that works. Can you please speak a little bit more about it? Because I understand that a lot of practitioners in creative design are freelancers. So if they are freelancers, it means that they're not attached to any production house as such. Therefore, it becomes a little bit difficult to reach them. Yeah.
Okay, we have a lot. Yes, we are freelancers, but we have an association that governs everyone member, right? Now, as an association, we have to go fish them, bring them in. Even though they are freelancers, We have, because recently I had to mediate in an issue between somebody, a producer on the island, who went and contracted a particular person to costume the job for her. But on that set, the costumer had to slap her, fight the PM, fight everybody, all the artists on set. But at the end of the day, somebody had to give her my number to call me. The first thing I asked her, is this person a registered member? She said she does not know. What is her name? Give me her name. Find out that she's not registered in any of the states. The same thing happened in, when I say production houses, we have what this production, we have a lot of production houses. Jade, Mrs. Jade, she has the production house. We have DSTV. We have a lot of them like that. So which we have written letters to. They are using costumers. They use makeup artists. They use set designer. They use props managers. So when we are reaching out to them to introduce our guild to them. We are not saying, okay, come in and employed or engage the already registered members. That will be wicked. That will be wrong of us. You're already used to self sets of people. Now we want them to come and register with us.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of package that we have that we help them in course of their profession, in course of their practicing. You understand? Because when there are issues, they will always look for us. And you can't call me for someone I don't know. I fight or I stand in for someone that I know I can pinpoint that this person is my member. Do you understand? So
yes.
Without you being registered with us, there is nothing someone like me or any of the state chairmen can do. So that is why we are taking this time out to send them letters, introduce our guild as CDGN, Creative Designers Guild. Let the people working with you to come and register. If you don't have, then use those who are registered, already registered with us, to do or to execute your job.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Mrs. Joy. That is so passionate. Let me go now to Mr. John. Mr. John, Cinematographers Society of Nigeria. What are the major challenges that you face in the course of your work, and how does your collaboration across the guilds help you to guarantee members' welfare?
Okay.
You're muted, please.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, clearly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I don't think the challenges are different across board. If all of us are going to be naming challenges, it's going to be the same challenges across board, But by and large, for instance, let me start from the member themselves, because it's easy to point fingers and say these executives are not working, those people are not working, they're not delivering on something. But when you call for a meeting, nobody turns up. When you call for a meeting of over 400 members, you find out that apart from the executives, maybe half of the executive and very few people turn up for a meeting. Then you move meeting to virtual meeting, and you find out that people still don't attend. So it is quite difficult, but what we have done at CSN is to look at the future and say, look, when we are driving this association, let's work with serious people who are disciplined. It's going to get to that time where over 400 membership will be cut down to about 200 of serious people, in quotes. We don't need large numbers. We need numbers, certain numbers of serious individuals who are ethically, on point with whatever they do. We are not looking for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. No. So that is why when I spoke the last time, I mentioned some benefits. We are working on all those benefits so that in the end of the day, regulation will be easy. And you see, an hungry man is an angry man. A camera operator that has not worked in the past 6 months, you can't call somebody, such person for a meeting and it will turn up. You understand? So that's why referral has to also be done. We need to make sure that people also get work. I won't get job for them. I can only refer. Association can only refer and stand as a mediator between the employer and the employee. You understand? So we are doing all of this to make sure that both in the aspect of getting job and the welfare that comes with it, they are satisfied. When they are satisfied, when you call for a meeting, when you call for dues, people will pay their dues. People will come for a meeting. People will attend functions. But when they don't see this thing happening, they won't turn up. So this is the major, forget, the government has their part to play, but it's at a later stage. Let us leave government out of it now. It's us. It is us. You understand? Yeah. Government will do its own part when we get there. But let's put our house in order. You understand? Let's make sure that people that we lead have discipline. I've worked on some project and I asked questions that how does this camera operator get on this project? You understand? That is where the essence of orientation, and the training need to be, emphasized at all time. We cannot have it enough. You understand? So that is how, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your intervention. That is useful. I think it's important for us to continue talking about challenges because it is true that the yields have similar challenges, but there are some specificities around each one. And until we address these challenges, or at least even understand them clearly, why won't people attend meetings, even if the meetings are virtual and they don't have to move, for example? It's an issue to be addressed because without attending meetings, how do you know the next thing that the guild is doing? How will publicity occur? How will that drive the film industry forward? And so on and so forth. So I think that's important. And this brings me to my next question for Mr. Ogun. One of the biggest complaints I have heard about the film industry is that of scripting, screenwriting. Even among the blockbuster films, right? There is always reports about, oh, there's a story hole, or this doesn't add up, or the writer this, or the writer that. What do these kinds of things mean to you, and how do you think they can be corrected going forward? Is it really the screenwriter's problem, or is it that the problems leave the hands of the writers and then becomes a director's problem? What are your thoughts on this particular thorny point, sir?
Okay, so I have a peculiar personal take on this. I think that at the end of the day, even though the storytelling process might be triggered by and the responsibility might lay heavily on the writer, I think it's also a collaborative process.
Okay.
So what usually happens is the writer has written based on the interpretation of what the story is. The director has his interpretation, the producer has his own interpretation. Chances that if they all come together, if they all come together, pulling their ranks, they'll be able to check each other and come up with something that actually makes sense. But then that's assuming that these people I've mentioned to know what they are doing. Because again, you have filmmakers who critique stories and just say, I don't know what's wrong, I'm not just feeling it. How do you say that? You're supposed to be a filmmaker. You're supposed to know. You're supposed to tell me what is wrong. But beyond that, I think that sometimes we do not really, a lot of people don't really respect what the writers bring to the table. They do not respect skill, they do not respect experience. And so for a lot of them, they feel writers are at the bottom of the food chain. So anybody can write. They come approach you with this, anybody can write. It should be just to write. But there are people, I'm not saying that, I believe that, I mean, people need to get chances to move to the next level. But the truth of it is that if you give me 10 million naira to produce a film, I know the directors I will call. If you give me 60 million, I know the directors I will call. If you give me 200 million, and I know that if the film bombs, I know I cannot hide from you. I know the directors I will call. Because I know that these ones can do a good job. And the truth about it, which a lot of youngsters don't even understand, is look, if I have a 200 million naira budget for a film, there are certain directors I will call for to direct. Because even if at the end of the day it's not a blockbuster, my financiers are not going to kill me because they'll say, oh, okay, it was this person that directed it. The person is synonymous with success.
Yeah.
But if I have a 200 million naira project and I call one Paul Obishade that nobody knows, if it bombs, I mean, serious trouble. They're gonna ask you, you didn't see these other people. But if it's a success, then they will say, oh God, I'm so perceptive, and this, I'll be healed. So is it worth the risk? No. I'd rather go with the big names who I'm sure can deliver and all that. So bottom line, rounding all this up, I think that to a very large extent, when we blame writers, we need to be very careful because sometimes it is not what has been written. Sometimes it is the way it has been directed. Sometimes it is because you don't have the actual budget to actualize what has been written, so it comes across as stupid. And then the audience are not that discerning. They don't know the difference. They can't tell, okay, this is the writer's fault, this is the director's fault, this is the fault of the budgeting. But the easiest person to just lay the blame at is the writer. I know sometimes there's some writers who don't get it right, and all that. But yeah, that happens. But most of the time, especially like you say with the big shows, I think that we're beginning to tell good stories. Yes, 5, 6, 8, 10 years ago, maybe, but recently, yes. I mean, Nigerian film just made #1 globally. It was written by a human being, a Nigerian human being. You understand? So we are getting better. I think that the stories, if you look at most of the stories that make it to the platforms, they're better stories than they used to be. So there is improvement. It's gradual, but it's steady. There's improvement. But sometimes people just can't tell the difference between what is the writer's fault and what is the fault of someone else. I'm not saying it has to be the director or the producer, but I think that generally people should start to cut us slack because we are telling much better stories now than we used to. And moreover, all these people, they will come and they will say all kinds of things. Look, the bottom line is, if a man is paid 300,000 to write a script, given a short period of time to churn it out, what exactly are you expecting from him? He can't do as much research as he would have loved to do. And then you've not given him enough time because people will come, okay, I want this script next week. So he just go to zap it. It's first draft, you take it and do. So I think with all these few points, we've come to realize that it's not a clear-cut issue as might seem. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That is extremely useful. And one of the things that jumped at me as you spoke is the idea that the audience might not be as discerning as they should be. You know, as practitioners and as the expert that you are, it tells me that, okay, you have more work to do, or the guild itself has more work to do in terms of educating or re-educating the audience. You know, something like podcasts, for example, to sort of distill these different parts for the audiences so that they know how to even read a film. You know, for example, might be one of the ways to look at it, because it's an incessant complaint that I'm just a Nollywood researcher writing my small papers here and there. I'm not a practitioner the way our panelists are today. But I hear this complaint all the time. Some say, oh, Nigerian films are talk heavy. It's supposed to be show, don't tell. Meanwhile, they want to stand in one place and say everything. And then you can predict the film and so on and so forth. So yes, the complaints are there. And I think that we need to continue that process of education. It would have been great, by the way. Afoma is telling me to ask the panelists to please put on their videos, their cameras, so that we can see their faces. So please, if you're able to do that, I would appreciate that deeply. There are questions coming up in the chat box. Thank you so much, Ma. And this question is for the National President of the Directors Guild, Dr. Okhai. And then another one for the Actors Guild. Well, he hasn't joined us today, unfortunately. What is the Guild doing to discipline erring members? For example, Victor Opala, who has been called out for sex for roles allegations with clear evidence. Does this not give the Guild a bad name? And even if he is not a member of a Guild, do such issues mean nothing to the Guild? It seems like the well-being of actors are not guaranteed. This is Lade Adeoju's question. I hope I pronounce it correctly. Dr. Okhai, please.
Thank you very much. Sorry, just me. Thank you very much. This, I can tell you, is a big concern to me first as an individual and to us as a guild. We are, I mean, this is about a reputation issue, and we take it very, very seriously. I can assure you, across guilds, especially in recent times, there have been a lot of collaborations. As Madam Sarah will tell you, just 2 days ago, we were in a matter between a CDGN member and a member of her guild. We sat over it, discussed it, and settled the matter. Yesterday, there was another case between a director and a young actress. And when I got on board, if anybody ever listened to my speech, or if you go to the newspapers and dig, you'll find I said, one of the things I said, okay, no, to my members particularly, I said, I'll be the first to throw you under the bus. If, on matters of integrity, you are found wanting, because it's a reputational issue, and we cannot take it lightly. We're supposed, as directors, we're supposed to be above board. We have been handling a lot of disciplinary issues. And the beauty of it right now, maybe this is the best time to talk about it, is a lot of people assume that the industry is not one. Far from the truth. We have come together now under a federation. If you're not speaking, switch up so that you don't, I'm hearing some. So we have come under a federation. This federation comprises, the heads, the presidents of all the registered guilds and associations in the industry. So we have come together as one, where if there are issues, we can discuss it. And the word will be out there very soon. If together we agree, we sit over judgment in any matter, on any issue, and you are found wanting, I will slam a ban on you. You may have to go and practice your art elsewhere until you serve out the ban. Because the writers will not write for you if you are a producer. The directors will not direct for you. If you are a director, you cannot practice. These are things that we're doing to ensure that things change. You call that a name. Things have to be reported officially. It helps, when things happen. And I'm dealing with so many cases. Let me tell you, even as a director, we have cases where the report was people who collect money in their role as producers from people in the diaspora. They collect money that they're going to produce movies for them, and then they're duping them or shortchanging them. Now, and then when the report comes, they bring it to me in CDGN. They say you're a member. Meanwhile, this member is also a member of Producers Guild. But because we are working together as one, I will sit down and we deal with it. And I think increasingly members are knowing that there are consequences for bad behavior. While we may not go public with it, I can assure you that the in-house cleaning is producing results. That's why we say to people, make sure the people you're dealing with are registered and currently registered. Ask for proof. Contact the guild. Is this your member before you do anything? If you have any doubt, say, can I deal with this person? And then let the guild say to you, yes. So that if anything goes wrong, you can always come back to the guild. And we will stand by you because we say to you, this person is our member, and that you can deal with the person. And because we have done that, if that person fails, you can be sure, I repeat, there are consequences for bad behavior. The particular individual that you called out, if there are cases, I would say please report officially. If we read it on social media, we cannot be acting on mere speculation on social media. It does not mean that we tolerate or that we back it up. We are not. If something has happened, like the one I was talking about yesterday, a member of my guild, and I dare say that, I was told, I got a report from so many corners, including the young lady, that this guy was, trying to be, fresh with her and all that. Immediately we dealt with the matter. Right up to this one, he apologized. In fact, the matter was, and he has promised that it will never happen again. This is what we expect. Come, talk to the guild if you have issues. And you cannot sit down outside and assume that nothing is happening. And going forward, if you don't deal with guild members and you come, we'll tell you go to court.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for saying that. The point I would like to add is when these matters are dealt with, especially the ones that have come to the public domain, isn't there a need for the resolution of such issues to be communicated to the public since they already know it? But I hear you say, I may be wrong, that the matters are dealt with by the guilds.
No, let me explain. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
You may or may not be aware, the domiciliary case, for instance, that and for instance, I was actively involved in that. I called all the parties. I called Film One, the distributors who were also partners on the project, called the Anjemande, called the Bejiru. We sat down, we tried to resolve it, invited their lawyers, and we tried to resolve this matter to the best of our ability. It was when Anne insisted that she was going to go ahead, we said, okay, no problem. But we had tried internally to resolve the matter, okay? Because it was a public space, and the report came to me. And we acted on it immediately. There are many like that. If it's a public space, obviously we cannot deal with it secretly. The result will come out in the public space as well. But if a matter comes in privately, the people call and they said they want arbitration within the guild, the matter comes, we resolve it. What's the point of going to say, oh, this person is not, if it's been resolved amicably, we don't need to go and then go to the public and say this person stole this person's money and therefore this. No.
Yes, you're right. I agree with you, sir. But I'm speaking, and I think the lady who asked this question was also thinking about the well-being or the welfare of either intending members of the public.
Sorry, let me say this quickly. If you think there's a super untouchable person and that person has done anything, try me. Bring the person. Report formally, but bring proof. We will not act on speculations.
True.
Like the case I was talking about yesterday, we told the young lady, although we've resolved the whole matter now, we said, I told her, I said, if you think, if somebody is around, go, you have a record, carry your phone, go ahead, go and engage the person in the conversation. Even if you didn't have earlier recordings, at least that's what we will hear the conversation between two of you. Because the issue of one person's word against another is not right. You understand? You must have evidence. Personally, although I don't talk about it, but I have a background in criminal justice administration.
Thank
and
you so much,
I don't put it in any of my CV. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Hello?
Thank you, sir. I mean, can I please stop you here now, because Mrs. Joy had asked to leave earlier, and I want to address the last question to her before she leaves, please. I crave your indulgence, sir. There is a question here. In 2022, the CEO of the Nigerian Film and Video Censors Board, Adedayo Thomas, said operators in the creative industry will need to belong to professional guilds before the board can interface with them. What is the response of a guild to this, and how are they leveraging on this policy statement to advance their professional pursuits? I mean, all the panelists can address this question, but I want to ask Mrs. Joy specifically if her own guild, the Creative Designers Guild, has benefited in any way from this policy by the Film and Video Censors Board.
Thank you so much, Anulika, right?
Anulika, yes.
Anulika. All right, thank you so much. Concerning this question, before this question, I would just like to buttress a little bit on what Mr. President Victor Okhai have said concerning challenges that we are facing in the industry, especially from my own end, which is my guild. Right. You know, my guild, somehow, I don't know, somehow people feel that it's the smallest guild among all guild and association. But personally, I define my guild as one of the largest guild in the industry because we have 4 units under one umbrella. So now, what am I saying about these challenges of the team? You know, when you talk about attendance of meeting, I have resolved and I have been able to encourage my leaders in states, even in as national, that look, people, to be honest with us, people are occupied with so much in their mind, especially the Nigeria of now that we are in. A lot of people are occupied, a lot of economic issues, social issues and all that. So, and these people, most of them are fathers and mothers, married, you know, they run their family, they run other things. So when you don't see them, though it's painful, it's at times it can be very annoying, but we just have to work with those that we have seen, that we've seen around us, those that respond to what we're saying. But that does not stop us from releasing the information of whatever discussion we had in the meeting or whatever. We need to release the information. By so doing, nobody will say, I am not aware, because the platform is there for everybody to access whatever information that will be released or be posted over there. That is that. That issue of employing people that are not capable. Not as many people are capable. Many people know what they are doing. In the case where I think Mr. John said something, you can't have a job that you want to do or a project of 200 million and you are looking for somebody you know that cannot handle it. Let me tell you, a lot of things are going wrong until we come together, sit down together, reason together, and find way forward to how we can be able to resolve certain things in our industry.
Right.
In a case where somebody is working and you feel that I am in charge, let me just tell this person no more money. I mean, as a costumer and a prop manager that I am, a job that I know that can cost 500,000, and I am giving you my bill, and you're telling me that no money, no money, no money. When there is no money, don't go on set. Don't venture into that project. Because the truth is that even though money and the person decide to accept the job, believe me, the person will give you, the person won't even deliver because no money. It will give you, deliver according to what you have given to that person. The truth of the matter is that we need to We need to just help ourselves to grow, help ourselves to achieve greatness, help ourselves to deliver. A customer, we all know what things cost in the market. You want to buy a pair of jeans, you know what it costs. And you are calling me to come and do a job. You are calling a makeup artist when a powder, I went to get a powder, a particular product, and just a single powder were telling me 25,000. Then if I have to do a job and you are giving me 20,000 to do that job when a powder is just 25,000, how do I deliver that job?
Right.
So a lot of things are going on in our industry that we all need to come together. Like my president said, Mr. Victor, the federation, we are working hard to see, we are coming up. We're going to come up with a lot of ideas, a lot of way forward to see how we'll be able to work together and help each other without a director helping a costumier. Because helping a costumier, a makeup artist, is not that you are giving that person money to do the job. Not that you are giving that person extra money. You help them to plan the job, to analyze the job together, because a lot of issues going on right now. Nobody's analyzing job anymore. Come way back in 2002, 2004, 2006, we have what we call script conference.
Right.
Script conference may come, we might have script conference for 2 or 3 days. Both the lead actors, the costumier, the production designer, the props manager, the makeup, the director. Everybody will be on a table, analyzing the character, analyzing the shot. You understand? We all will even go to scout for location. But these days, a producer will just wake you up, not call your phone and say, we are going on set tomorrow. Who does that? How do you get the best out of that job? So,
all right.
It will work. Then to your question before I leave, I have just few minutes only. To your question before I leave, ma, concerning the census board, the truth of the matter, we have done our registration, we are bona fide, but we have not seen anything. We are not enjoying anything. We have not, in fact, nothing, because we still have people working and their film being submitted. Nobody has been penalized. And that alone is weighing my members, discouraging most of them to say, if we are being mandated to do this because of this policy, and still a lot of people out there are still working without them being registered. That means there is no need for us to start pushing or mandating them to do the needful when it comes to registration and all that. So for us, we have not feel the impact of census board in our own guild.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mrs. Joy. That means that someone you have to go back to Mr. Adedayo Thomas to address these issues. But yes, thanks. That's outside of our conversation for today. But I thank you very much for joining us today. Your insights have proved very useful to this conversation. And I hope that as you go on, you continue to pull the Nollywood Studies Center into your conversation so that in any ways we can work collaboratively for the growth of this film industry. We will do so. So thank you, Ma. There is a question for
Mr.
Thank you so
Ogun much.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, Ma. But Yemi's hand has been up. Yemi's virtual hand has been up for a while now. Can you unmute yourself and ask your question briefly, please, before I go to the ones in the chat? Is Yemi still here, and is he interested in asking the question, or she? All right, so while that is happening, I don't want us to lose a lot of time. There are, well, 3 questions here for Mr. Ogun, please. The first is, how does mandating membership of the Guild improve quality of writing? The second, what specific steps does the Guild plan to take to improve the quality of writing? And thirdly, isn't it too soon to be organizing a Screenwriters Guild Awards? What's the desired outcome? 3 questions for you, Mr. Yinka Ogu from Damola, an attendee.
Okay,
The floor is yours, sir.
Could we just take that one by one again?
That's
and let me just
fine.
answer as you, yeah.
Thank you. Are you able to switch on your camera, please? Hello. Thank you so much.
Yes, can I have the first question again?
How does mandating membership of the Guild improve quality of writing?
Okay, so if you have all the members, if you have the screenwriters under one association, and you're providing constant and regular capacity building initiatives that help them improve their skills, they have access to mentorship. They have opportunity to network among themselves. And you know, one of the things about writing, and the best writers will tell you, there's nothing like when you have someone to bounce your thoughts off, when you have someone you can actually share your script with and say, give me your take on this. There are a lot of things you can miss as a writer. So being part of the guild actually gives you an opportunity for all these, and these are things that help improve your skills. You know, so those are some of the benefits. Those are some of the ways in which being part of the guild can actually help you improve your skill
Right.
as a writer. Because the truth about it is that there are a lot of names. Some of the top writers.
Oh, we can't hear you clearly anymore. I don't know if that's my connection or yours. But we are unable to hear you clearly, sir. Hello?
If it was yours, we won't hear you. So I don't think it's yours.
Okay. Mr. Yinka, well, I don't know if shutting the camera would help. But if you can hear us, sir, a follow-up question to that will be, what about the cases of story theft or story idea theft that we've had in the past? When you bounce your ideas off other people, aren't you or shouldn't you be afraid that the ideas may be stolen and, you know, that may go down very badly for practitioners? Oh, he's still frozen. I'm sorry about that. Please switch off your camera because we could hear you very well before until it came on. My apologies. Oh, looks like he's gone. Okay, while we're waiting for that, Damola's hand is up. Damola, is your question in relation to the ones you've asked before? Hello? Can someone still hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
we can hear you loud. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Very loud and clear.
All right, thank you. Damola's hand is up, and I'm asking that the question be asked because these are still Mr. Yinka Ogun's question, but we can move on to other issues. So what is the future?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
okay. Mr. Yinka Ogun is still not available, I assume.
No, he's not.
Because it's kind of a follow-up to his question. To his answer, sorry.
Okay.
But I did put some other stuff in the chat. Maybe I could go to that instead. Would that be okay? Or should I just wait for you to go back to those questions in the chat later?
You can put the questions, put your subsequent questions in the chat, and if he's able to rejoin us, then he can pick it up from there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, one more question, actually. Sorry, one question for Mr. Victor Okhai. So
Please
Mr.
go
Victor
ahead.
Okhai has spoken very strongly, and I appreciate him being here today, and I appreciate his very strong stance on the recent allegations against Mr. Akbala. Two questions, first of all, and I don't, I honestly, I don't know, but is Mr. Akbala actually a member of your guild? Is what I would ask you. It's just as simple yes or no will suffice. Thank you so much. And secondly, if the matter is taken down a legal route, and so first of all, now that the allegations have been made with some quite damning evidence, what steps will be taken against Mr. Akbala, if any? And thirdly, if eventually he is, say, convicted in a court of law, what actions will be taken against him by the guild in that event?
Thank you very much for your question. Mr. Victor Okpala is a producer, to the best of my knowledge. I have to double check. I have not seen him active in DGN, so to the best of my knowledge, I'm not sure he's an up-to-date member of the guild, if he is at all. So to that extent, I can say, but as a producer, yes, I'm very sure he's an active producer. But we all are in the same industry, and the beauty of it now is, like I said, we have a federation. The matter can be addressed to the federation with proper evidences. I say so because reputation is something that takes years to build. And I was having that conversation this morning with a gentleman concerned in the matter I talked about that happened yesterday. You know, reputation is like a balloon. One prick, excuse my plain words, and it's gone. Okay? So we have to be very careful about how we, when we accuse anybody, let us make sure we have watertight. I'll give you an example. My members were complaining some time back about, some things going on with one of our major streamers and stakeholders. And I can mention their name, DSTV. And then that, they would submit movies and these movies would not be, the people were in charge of buying would then say, oh, they are not buying movies, they've not been buying for the past 2 years. And meanwhile, new titles are being turned out every day, and you see the same names and everything. I read it on the platform, and for me, that was enough because several people were making that complaint. So I took it up with the organization, and I have to say to their credit that they did not take it lightly. Together, we launched an investigation. I traveled several times. I called for evidences. We had rock solid evidences. I went to Asaba a couple of times. We've had video recordings, had audio recordings, and I was very careful because you see some of these people have allies as well, who collaborate with them, who benefit from these matters. And by the time we were done, it was rock solid. When they were confronted, I remember one of the people concerned, there were two in particular. One of them broke down and started crying. The other one was trying to form whatever, but the evidences were overwhelming. There was nothing. You can't even sue or say your organization such. To cut a long story short, they were fired. Okay, to the relief of the industry as well. So that's how to conduct these things. Now they cannot come and say, oh, their reputation was, or somebody accused them, or this or that, because we did the necessary thing. The organization cooperated, and they said it clearly, they have zero tolerance for corruption and for bad behavior in the organization. I say so to their credit because they have demonstrated. So they cooperated with us. We worked together as a team. There was a proper report. There was a proper panel, and the people were fired. Okay, so I think that's what we should do. Bring it up. Bring on your very strong, incontrovertible evidences. So the world will not say you have victimized anybody. Nobody will come and say, even if the person is your best friend, he will know that in this case, there was fairness. You know, nobody can say anybody did anything. So that's all we ask for. You know, I can tell you, my personal capacity, I will do whatever it takes. You know, and I'm sure I can say the same for my co-presidents. You know, because we all have the same mind. This generation of leadership, you know, of heads of guilds, I can tell you is different. You just give us a chance, and then give us the benefit of the doubt, and then see what can come out of it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Okhai. Thank you. There are questions for Mr. John here, and I think that he has attempted to respond to them in the chat. Where is the Guild most active digitally? Are there any press releases? What training programs are currently available through your Guild? And what specific action steps can we expect to see from the Cinematography Guild in, say, the next quarter? Mr. John, would like you to speak. I know you've started addressing them here, but yes, please.
Yeah. I've started addressing them. You know, we are actually active digitally via our mailing system. If you're a member, we have a regional WhatsApp group for people in the East, people in the Southwest, people in the North. So wherever you belong to, you know, you find a particular WhatsApp group that you belong to, and every information needed shall be shared, you know, in those various WhatsApp groups. And if there's any need to send an email with an urgency, we also, if you have your email in our data bank, we also send an email across to members for some certain reasons. So other than this, we can equally do an SMS or put a call across to certain member who need such information. As per training, for training, we just you know, did some in Port Harcourt in collaboration with Canon 2 months ago. You know, we are not having anyone anytime soon until first quarter of. Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Okay, so we're not having any other one until next first quarter of next year. You know, but other than that, we also help other people who are stakeholder promote their events that has to do with workshop and master classes. You know, just this morning we sent message around in our various groups about the master class that will be happening during AFRIF. So, you know, the bottom line is this. The people that will come for masterclass training will find out that they are the same set of people that is always turning up. You understand? You know, so we won't stop, you know, sensitizing the industry. We'll keep telling people about all of these events. You know, it's now left for individuals, either you want to, you know, take part of it or not. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. It's very important that people are aware. So there is that need to continue sensitizing people, excuse me, on the various activities, excuse me, that you have, especially for those who might be looking to join in your guilds, not necessarily those who are already practitioners and are members or have decided to stay away for whatever reasons best known to them. There is another question here. And this has been asked by Yemi. He says that the guilds are doing exceptional jobs. So thank you to all our panelists today. However, there is always room for improvement. My question has to do with encouraging members to join. I think that financial constraints, he says, have also contributed to members' apathy to join the guilds. So are there incentives for members with limited funds to join the guild? So here we have, you know, another side of the discussion. People want to join but may not have the resources to do so. So how can these people be helped? Mr. John, first, please.
Okay. Sorry, the last part of the question, can you phrase it again?
Incentives? Are there incentives?
Okay. I get it now. Yeah, I get it now. Yeah, you see, we cannot give incentive to people we don't know. That will not happen. We can only give incentive to members who will find that they are incapacitated to continue to pay their dues. We can have a welfare team to look into such situation and help them out and say, okay, for the next 2 years, we are paying for your membership fee, you understand, or whatever benefits that is coming into the association, you're automatically going to be part of it and all of that. So, but if you are not a member, you cannot benefit from all of this incentive. There are incentives that like during the COVID, I sent list of members to different studios to confirm, because people register with them, they want to collect such incentive from Netflix, and they want to, clarify either they are members of the guild or not. So I have to send a confirmed list to such studios. So these are the things that we do. But if you are not a member of the guild, I don't see how we are able to help you.
Thank you for that. That's an interesting take on it. Dr. Okhai, please, do you have any comments on this particular question on how those who don't have the resources to join the guilds can be assisted?
Okay, I'll tell you what, we have several initiatives. We're partnering with the multi-choice talent factory, for instance, to, if you like, say, catch them young. As a graduate, because of partnership we have, CDGN, especially with the talent factory, as they are graduating, we are recruiting them into the guild, and that we do free of charge. Then they pay subsequently. We are doing this initiative that we're doing and across, institutions as well. So these are the people you might say fall into the category of I won't use the word indigent, but they don't have money at the moment. But they are trained and they are practitioners, others, and all that. So you understand that these are people who you want to grow into the industry. So we're doing that, and you can see some of that in the public space as well. So it's not a secret, it's something that we do all the time. And where, like in some of the states where we're trying to expand into, we find situations where not much business happens in those states, and the people they may not have the exact fee up to the amount. So we said to them, give us the numbers. We know you're winning. But if you bring the volume, we can then, lower the cost and bring you in. So these are things we're doing. And we have also, because we are very inclusive, or we promote inclusiveness, women. I know more than once, there was a time we did, before I even came in, where we threw it wide open and said, women, come in, register free of charge. There was a window period, to get more women to come in as, as directors. These are some things that we have done in the past, and initiatives. I'll just give a few examples, things that we do to promote inclusivity. So, and in terms of, but your main question was people who don't have money. So I've just added inclusiveness to it, but I just give you some examples of what we've been able to do.
That's brilliant. Thank you. I hope that the other guilds can borrow a leaf from what you are doing, and also perhaps approach corporate organizations to sponsor some of the initiatives that you have, which will then either force down participation fee, if at all, or at least make it open to people at no cost at all. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now down to 2 speakers instead of 5. I have to apologize for that. There are so many technical reasons why that has happened. Dr. Rollas has not been able to join us at all because he just traveled to the east, and where he is, there isn't any internet access there at all. That was completely unintended. So apologies for that. Our final question, because we are almost approaching 1 p.m., has to do with the future. We've listened to our very experienced speakers talk about the work that their guilds have been doing. Now, we need to look at the future because the industry is growing rapidly. Now, Nigerian film is celebrated all over the world, not just on our continent. So how are the guilds positioning themselves in order to continue to respond to the issues now? Because, for example, streaming has come to stay, right? On nearly all the platforms, WhatsApp platforms that I'm on, people are always comparing whether they would go to the cinema or whether they would watch the films on Netflix or on any other platform, you know, Prime and so on. And invariably, the responses are, you know, streaming would always win because of our own socioeconomic condition, because the amount of money you spend at the cinema is what can give you 2 months subscription, for example, on Netflix. Now, these have some implications for the Directors Guild, for the Cinematographers Society, and for the various other guilds. So how are the guilds positioning themselves, right, for future production possibilities, for future exhibition and distribution possibilities, you know, for the future growth of the industry?
Okay, can I quickly take that?
Yes, please.
All right. You know, because of time, yeah, we are
Yeah.
positioning ourselves. We are collaborating with other guilds. We are networking with other stakeholders and studios and producers to do stuff together. And we are not staying local at the same time. We are also going global. And one of the recent steps we've taken is to be a member of IMAGIO. IMAGIO is the International Federation of Cinematographers. And
Right.
we have about 56 national cinematography societies on the world stage. And in Africa, we have just only two. There's been a South African guild who has been a member of this IMAGIO since, and Nigeria has been part of this since last month. So it's a great step for us, you know. And since being a member, we've been opportune to also refer some certain member for, you know, bigger jobs out there, you know. The the expression might not be in the populace right now, but you know, very soon people will know what we're actually doing about this, you know, because the world is actually looking at us. You know, the global film ecosystem, they're looking at Nigeria being the third
Right.
largest producer in the world, and we can't just sit down and say because we are third largest producer in the world and we are just there. No, we also need to improve. You know, we need to improve in our craft. We are also encouraging our member to also do individual capacity building. You know, it's not all the time you wait for sponsors. It's not all the time you wait for people to sponsor you. You know, the best thing we can do is to support you, write recommendation letter so that it can be sponsored. And we don't relent in doing this. We are doing that a whole lot. And in the coming year, we are going to be partnering with a lot of film school in making sure this really happens. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. John. It looks like you have a lot on your plate. That's excellent. Thanks. Dr. Okhai, please, the future.
I'd say the future is now. There are obviously a lot of challenges, AI being one of them, whether we accept it or not. It poses some sort of existential threat even to our business. Then there are the threats also of if Africa should wake up, the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, if they are to take advantage of it, then it means that we either sit up or we'll lose out, you know, although we're practicing here. I'm just in the environment right now to talk about the issues before I come to what we're doing. Other challenges are the fact that those of us who are active in the industry right now, if we do not do what we need to do and take full ownership and rise up to the occasion, now that the industry has become attractive, a whole new set of people may just come and take it over. We have not failed to let our members know about this, which is why we are very particular about making sure that members own their ass through capacity building. We've run a few regional programs as well, and we have quite a few lined up. So it is important that our members improve. So we have lined up a couple of training programs apart from what we've done in the past to see how we can get our members trained to rise up to the occasion, not just in directing, but also in the business as well. Because I remember one of the problems, the issue I talked about, we resolved 2 days, not one of yesterday, about 2 days ago, with the CDGN president, was also contractual. If people don't know about contracts, then you begin to get some of the issues that occur. And not only that, you may sell your birthright, your copyright, your IP. You know, you just sell it off cheaply because you don't understand some of this. So in terms of practice, members, we have very good directors right now. So we are stratified. So, but I think it is important that at whatever level our members are, that they are protected, they understand what their rights are, so that no matter how big the industry gets, their IP is protected, and they enter into contracts in such a way that they will not be holding the short end of the stick. Then we are also thinking about enlightening them as well about how to cope with the coming challenges that I talked about earlier on. These are very, very important because you may have everything in your brain. If AI comes and takes it away, there's nothing you can do. You may have everything in your brain. If they bring all the South Africans here under the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, you may not tell them not to practice because the continent has opened up. That's what we have all signed up to, you know, and so on and so forth. So we are alert to this, and we are working towards it to ensure that our members remain on top of their game and on top of the, you know, whatever challenges may confront us.
Excellent. Thank you so much. This has been extremely useful to us. Thank you for all that you've shared with us today, for your time. Dr. Okhai, in spite of being bereaved, you've made out the time to join us. We are deeply, deeply grateful to you. And we also extend our sincere condolences to you and your family at this time for the loss of your mom. Thank you so much. Thank you also, Mr. John Aduloju, for being here with us this afternoon, well, from morning till this time, and for all that you've shared with us. We hope to keep in touch with you and to continue sharing the insights from your guilds and from the industry at large with those who are interested in following the Nollywood Studies Center. There are questions here asked by Isaac Adebayo, but reading through the questions and having listened to all the conversations, I believe that his questions have been addressed. So we won't go over them again. I ask your pardon, Mr. Adebayo, but I believe we've addressed all of these questions. Thank you so much for asking them in the chat. I would like also to thank our speakers who have had to leave for different reasons. Mrs. Joy Osaruwa-Akinyemi, the National President, Creative Designers Guild of Nigeria, and Mr. Yinka, Ogun, the National President, Screenwriters Guild of Nigeria. Both of them have shared deep experiences and insights with us, and we are, of course, grateful. To the panelist who was unable to join us for reasons out of his control, Dr. Rollas, we also extend our thanks, and we'll be in touch with him if he has anything to share, and we can put in notes and circulate to all our followers across our social media platforms. We'll be more than willing to do that. On this note, I would like to wrap today's session of the Filmmakers.
Damola was trying to ask a question.
Damola is trying to ask a question. Oh, apologies.
Yes,
Excuse me. Damola, your hand is up. Is this a recent hand raising,
yes.
or has it been from the past? Can you please unmute yourself and ask the
Yes,
question?
it's recent. It's recent.
Okay,
Sorry.
please.
Just thanks to all the panelists for being here, and thank you for making your comments. But also, I just wanted clarification on the Mr. Aduloju had mentioned an international cinematographers organization that Nigeria was now a member of, and I just missed it. So I was hoping that he could just maybe type it into the chat, the exact name, and if at all, what's it called? The if there's a press release on it or anything like that, maybe that could also be put in the chat just for all our benefits. And then just lastly, I know like we're done and everything, but I just wanted to maybe suggest to all the guild heads that I understand, as Mr. Ojedulu said, that your mailing lists are mainly available to your members and things like that and everything. But considering the challenges and the dearth of membership that I think a lot of the guilds are facing, I would suggest that I think it might be a good idea to actually open up those mailing lists and try and blast them out even further to non-members. I think that you may find that even by, I mean, you guys act on referral. You refer members to producers. People who are not necessarily practitioners in the industry, upon receiving your emails, may refer you to prospective members as well, you might find. So I think that you might just want to cast your net a bit wider, and just because you're prospecting for members, like people may be interested, but they want to know, what is this all about? Why should I even bother? And so I think those emails and things would definitely help.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Thanks for being such an active participant at today's session. The role of the guilds in strengthening the Nigerian film industry. Mr. John has put a link there. I hope you've seen it and can copy it. Is there a way to get the transcription on our mail? I will leave this question to Afoma. Afoma is going to reach out to all who have participated in this session today for follow-up and for additional materials as are available to us. I have also put in the chat box the Cinematographers Society of Nigeria's website. So that is open to anybody. And the question that Damola asked can also be answered by visiting that link, because the global body that Nigeria has become a member of, that the CSN has become a member of, is announced on that website. So please have a look. Thank you so much, everyone. I now want to close this session by the power vested in me by my colleague and dean, Dr. Ike Obiaya, who is a director of the Nollywood Studies Center. Again, my name is Anulika Agina, and I work at the Pan-Atlantic University, and I'm delighted to have spent this session with all of you. So enjoy the rest of the day, and immense thanks again to our panelists. Have a blessed day, everyone. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.